Hello, Noah here, and welcome to part 32 of my Contempt of Court Let's Play. I don't know why I struggled to say that just now. I've connected my Bluetooth headphones again, so the audio might be slightly desynced, but I have a feeling that a lot of my audio issues where like the audio becomes crackly and distorted is because I'm using my super old Apple earbuds. So I'm going to try recording with my Bluetooth headphones instead to see if that fixes the issue. If it doesn't fix the issue, then I will search up some stuff online to figure out how I can solve the issue. The good thing is that the audio issues never last for more than like 30 to 45 seconds, but it's long enough to annoy me personally while I'm editing, so I'm assuming it's also annoying to deal with while you're watching. So, yeah. Anyway. Court is now back in... What the hell? Say, is it just me or is there a drought in here? I'm feeling chilly all of a sudden. A drought? It feels like the Arctic winds are blowing through the courtroom right now. And Mr. Wright, you don't look particularly peaky, I must say. I'm just not a big fan of the cold, Your Honor. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but the situation is out of our hands. The temperature in here was a condition set personally by the Chief of Police. He says that he would not testify unless the climate was changed to suit his requirements. I gather that the 15-minute recess was in order to have his air conditioning equipment set up. Oh, I see. Strange as it sounds, I'm not entirely familiar with the new Chief of Police. Seriously, the judge doesn't know the chief? He was certainly familiar with the last one. Then again, he does appear to be kind of a hermit that in that high-rise igloo of his. What? High-rise igloo? Do you mean the judge's chair? Whatever. But I suppose his request is harmless enough. And besides, it's a good thing I'm wearing my thermos today. And your beard would surely make a fine scarf, too. Seriously, am I the only one in here even slightly fazed by how cold it is? Edgeworth is used to the cold. He has a cold heart. Sorry. I was thinking somebody would at least say burr right about now. I wouldn't worry about trying to warm yourself up, right? All the hot air you've been blowing about your red herring should do the trick nicely. Damn. Now then, on with the trial. I must remind you again, Mr. Wright, that it was your idea to summon the police chief to the stand. I hope you have a very good reason for bringing him into this case. Me too. Oh, I mean, understood, Your Honor. For the sake of my career, Snow, please don't be wrong. Ah, hello there. You must be the new chief of police. Why am I here? Well, you were brought here to testify about a new piece of evidence, Mr. Who? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the question. I said, who? And it wasn't a question. It was an order. Who summoned me? Abort. Abort. Bad decision. That might have been me, Chief Foida. Might have. That is to say, I did, yes. The name and occupation, please? A combination of cold and nerves, and I can barely talk. Witness, your name and... Schadenfreude, Chief of Police. The way he's glaring at me. He could teach Brisbane a thing or two. Go on, Mr. Wright. Right. Well, the reason I called you here to the courtroom, Chief Foida, was to see what you had to say about this particular document. You do know what this is, right? That I do, as well as to whom the documents refer. Documents? So you can confirm that there were more than one of these before I what? Had them all destroyed? Yes, of course I know what you're talking about, son. So you confirm your involvement with the removal of these files? Really, I don't understand what all the fuss is about these files all of a sudden. You folks really want to pursue this red herring when there's a killer we should be dealing with? Isn't there an actual attempted murder that we're forgetting about? That didn't stop you from getting me involved in that missing evidence business yesterday.
The defense has reason to believe that these documents you recently ordered to be destroyed have relevance to our case, Chief Voida. That is why you have been called here today, to explain how true or false these claims are.
They are undoubtedly false, but if you insist on testimony... Well, then I should happily provide, shouldn't I? I don't know whether to trust you or not. I really don't. I have a feeling you're being blackmailed or, like, forced to get rid of these files. That's what I feel like it is. You're not, like, actually evil. You're just a pawn in all of this. You're a puppet, so to say. This is all a purely coincidental cleanup of old case files. One such collection of files, as you happen to know, are of a long-missing mobster. He escaped identification during an incident long ago and hasn't been heard of ever since. Hemlock is just one man against a bunch of other destroyed files. Why is he so special? And there's your testimony. Will that be sufficient, Your Honor?
There is still the matter of the defense's cross-examination, Chief Voida. You have been warned, Mr. Wright. If this testimony yields no relevant information to our case... The Chief's knowledge of Hemlock being the man on the phone. The psyche locks. That I'm definitely certain of. How to prove it and get the truth out of the open in court is what I have no choice now but to do. I understand, Your Honor. The defense stands by its decision.
Ha! Well, it's a bit late for surety now, isn't it, son?
I don't like that face.
Now you've incurred the wrath of the chief of police by baselessly bringing him into court. Well, I hope you've got a backup career plan in mind in the case.
Wow, you're really gonna strip me of my badge, huh?
That's how I know I'm right. Why does it say testimony? It should say cross-examination. Sorry, I'm being nitpicky. Did you call for the removal of other files too? Of course. We do routine clear-outs of irrelevant or otherwise forgotten documents. Make some room, see? Long-resolved case files, profiles of criminals deemed long gone and no longer relevant, you name it. I guess destroyed files aren't exactly an easy thing to prove since they're, well, destroyed. And the files on Hemlock fell into this category. Can you explain why? Fuck no. Yes, I suppose I can. Detective Snow said that he was missing for a long while, too. How long for again? 6 years. I don't understand. This man must have already been pursued if he was noticed to have vanished. Otherwise, he would be just another unremarkable man to blend in with the organization's thousands. Correct. He was a most bothersome thorn in the police force's side until he went off the radar.
You potentially referring to the police incident in which he was involved? In all honesty, I'm curious about what exactly happened in that case and how Hemlock was involved.
Very well. I will tell what I know. This would be the incident Detective Snow told us about earlier. The very same. This Hemlock fellow was a central figure in the KS3 I mean the LH3 incident. I do beg your pardon. He was the police force's potential lead towards exposing the Cadopian smuggling ring 6 years ago. He'd made a major slip-up, see? Seriously damaged the secrecy of the organization. This was how police forces around the world began to get word that there even was a smuggling ring. I suppose in a twisted sort of way, we have Hemlock to thanks for its eventual liquidization. I assure you, Chief Voida, that the ring is far from dissolved. We have reason to believe that it is still operational only under a new leadership. Sorry, I was stuttering so bad. And who exactly are you suggesting is at the helm now? None other than Hemlock himself. We believe that he may have returned from hiding to take the reins. Bah, nonsense! The man's been gone all these years. Think about it, man. Wouldn't Interpol catch his scent if he emerged to commence operations again? And doing a high alert circulation to locate and arrest all smuggling ring members from all over the world? Precisely. They'd be on his backside in a heartbeat. Consequently, Hemlock is no longer a threat. This is why I order the purge of his files, among others. Long, uncomfortable silences are more or less a staple of the chief's behavior now, but this time they seem awfully deliberate. They even seem to precede his emotional reactions too. And who has to think before expressing natural emotion? A liar. And besides, speaking of Hemlock specifically, because he could be a possible suspect for the attempted murder of Errol Brisbane. And I suppose you have evidence to directly link him to the case? Not at the moment, aside from an anonymous caller who identifies as Hemlock himself.
An anonymous caller? Are you talking about the same man Mr. Wright spoke of earlier?
Throughout this case, I've so far been receiving cold calls from a previously unknown man. And before Detective Snow took the stand, Wright informed us of who he claimed to be. He's right, Your Honor. The caller has been harassing both me and Edgeworth since the case opened. He revealed to me yesterday that he was indeed Hemlock. I was going to present the call log on my cell phone to the court as evidence of these calls, but it is as you say, right? The calls weren't recorded in the phone's logbook. And my attempt to discreetly record our last conversation had ended in failure, too.
Is that so? I didn't even think such a thing was possible for a cell telephone.
But you were only introduced to the 21st century yesterday, Your Honor. How would you know? He seems to incorporate the use of some sort of tool to erase his calls from our phones. Some sort of criminal malware, if I had to guess, to cover his tracks in his existence.
But what would be his reason for persistently calling you both? That's what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around.
In my case, mostly just to gloat, and to remind me that he's observing the case. He was even the one who informed me of the crime and knew the victim's address. I'd hardly say he's not involved in our case. Yes, but right. How would we be able to prove that right now if we cannot prove his phone calls? Something a bit more substantial would be required before we are taken seriously. Yeah, he's right. We've got no way of proving our calls even happened. Stone cold evidence is needed to tie Hemlock directly to the crime, and I need to see if this stone cold witness will help us find it. What do you think, Chief Foida? How would this man know that an attempted murder had happened at an address he shouldn't know, and all before it even became public knowledge? I'd say this Hemlock guy is very involved in our case, wouldn't you agree? I don't have the time to waste saying that I am not a part of this case. And I don't have the time to be dragged here to tell you so in person. And I won't stand here any damn longer to explain a whole lot of nothing. Understand? Cripes, maybe he doesn't really know anything after all? No, stop it, Phoenix. That's just your fear talking. Don't let him get the upper hand. Chief Foida, I'm afraid your testimony doesn't give us a whole lot to go on. Your testimony doesn't tie you to the crime, I mean. That is what you're trying to do, isn't it? Scrambling about for a suspect. Someone, anyone, you bring me in. Is that about right? I never suspected you, Chief Foida. The court wanted to know more about Hemlock, and you got what you were looking for. So what's with the face, son? Well, was it what you wanted to hear? Was it worth inconveniencing the chief of police? I... Anybody else? Could you pick out anything useful for your case? Anything at all? Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Wright, the choice is yours, now or after the trial. Sorry? I don't understand the question. For what little information I could squeeze from that cowardly bailiff during recess, a deal had been made in order for you to have me here. A make-or-break deal involving your very career. Do I need to go on? Wait, you don't mean... As needless as this testimony appears, this sort of penalty is a touch drastic, surely. Just miles. I thought you of all people understood the consequences of ill-founded decisions. It's a pretty big deal to accuse the chief of police of involvement in a crime with no ground. Your Honor, did Mr. Wright not swear his badge upon the testimony you've just heard? Was this not a condition of the deal you and he agreed upon?
I believe it was, Chief Foida. This would not fly in a real courtroom. This is bullshit. I'm sorry, but these were your exact words, Mr. Wright.
What? Your Honor, please, wait a minute. I can, I'm not...
I'm waiting, Mr. Wright.
For what?
Why, your badge, of course. I figured I'd take the liberty of not wasting time and just take it off you right now. Just toss it over here, there's a good man.
How? How did I let something like this happen so soon? Was I in over my head bringing in the chief so hastily? Oh, what was I thinking?
I'm not a patient man, son, and I'll be taking that badge one way or another. So if you don't hand it over right now, you will never again have a career in law. You can rest assured now that you've stood behind your last defense bench, Mr. Wright. So the next time you're watching the latest courtroom TV series from your dingy lodgings, that's the closest you'll ever get to another court.
Hold it, Chief Fouettard.
Who are you snapping at, Miles? I'm about to give you an easy win here. As well as give your opponent an early retirement. So don't you hold it, Chief Fouettard, me son.
Before Wright hands you his badge, I wonder if you'll humor me for just a second.
A second is all you get. Now spit it out.
Just do me a small favor, and turn your head to the right again. Edgeworth, what is he up to?
Why would I do that? How will that save your pathetic little friend?
You're right, Chief Fouettard, I probably wouldn't. Now, if you could continue with what you were saying.
Very well, what a short but irritating waste of time.
Oh! Earpiece.
Now then, what I do believe I was...
Oh, he has an earpiece in. What the hell? There. Did you see that, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you talking about?
Throughout the cross-examination, something had been irritating me right from the start. Did anybody else notice that Chief Fouettard always seemed to be facing forwards? It is as if he has been trying to hide the left side of his head from our viewpoints. And now that the situation with Wright has arisen, he had forgotten to do so.
I'm still lost, Mr. Edgeworth. How is the side of the chief's head at all relevant?
Let's ask him, shall we? Chief Fouettard, what is that object in your left ear?
What are you blathering on about? There's nothing in my ear. What's that? Say that again. You must be referring to my hearing aid, yes.
I've been observing the object closer than you think whenever you turned your head, and it is most certainly not a hearing aid.
Indeed, and believe me, I know a hearing aid when I see one. Why, it looks like some sort of earpiece to me.
Chief Fouettard, have you been taking cues from somebody all along? Have you been listening to your own words, or the words of whoever is on the other end? Are you simply the marionette for someone else?
That might also explain the long pauses you've been taking between sentences.
Enough! I haven't been... That is, I wasn't... What did you... It's a little embarrassing, but I suppose I don't mind divulging the reason for the earpiece. I've been listening to music, see, my relaxation playlist to be more precise. I have what you might call a little bit of an anger problem. This just evens out.
Oh, really? And are you in any way capable of proving this?
Oh, darn, I guess I'm not. It's a wireless earpiece connected to the stereo system back in my office. I guess that means there's no way to prove that, I'm afraid.
Do you seriously expect us to believe that, Chief Fouettard? That your testimony was your own and not fed to you through that earpiece?
I do, and I equally expect it to be heeded.
Well, in that case, you wouldn't mind repeating your testimony without the earpiece then, would you? I'm sure you can deliver the same watertight testimony without your relaxation playlist.
Of course I can, man. I remember it like the back of my hand.
I propose this earpiece be examined and its matching transmitter located, Your Honor. Then we'll see what Chief Fouettard likes to listen to in his spare time.
Acknowledged. Bailiff, see to it that this item is delivered to the forensic department. Due to the doubt that has now been brought to Chief Fouettard's credibility, the defense may cross-examine the witness one more time.
Oh my god, I was this close to losing my job. Thank you and your eagle eyes, Edgeworth. Oh, man. I love Edgeworth so much, dude. No doubt about it. Somebody else was giving this testimony, not the chief. And I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that I know exactly who it was. Now that the chief's no longer being told how to react to my questions, he may very well make a mistake and give us a vital clue. Time to make use of the second chance and tear his testimony to pieces. Hemlock files again. And what I should do is I should just press now. Coincidental? I think not. Why would you be trying to erase the files of a mobster like Hemlock?
For reasons completely separate to this case. How many more times do I have to reiterate that he vanished 6 years ago?
Okay then, what are these completely separate reasons?
I am trying to create more room for future case files.
Oh. Okay, no need to shout.
Clearly there is need to shout, so I can try to penetrate your skull with my words. And I wish they had the force of bullets right now.
Did you just threaten to shoot me in the head? Yes, please. Wait, no, Phoenix, don't be suicidal, please. Okay, so he's not letting up on this statement. He's bound to slip up at some point, so as long as I keep pressing. Is there any possibility that he's now out of hiding? He claims to be the man calling me an Edgeworth.
I wouldn't know anything about your private phone calls, son. And besides, no, he's not out of hiding. Have you seen him anywhere?
No, but you don't have to...
Well, there you go. I'm sure your man is just a prankster of some other loser.
I guess I can't catch him out of this statement. I have to keep pressing and hope that it'll make a mistake. Oh yes, what was the name of that case again?
As I was saying...
But that's not fair! Oh no, you don't get away that easily. Please answer the question, Chief Foyda. What did you say the case name for that incident? What did you say was the case name for that incident?
Yes, witness, you are inclined to truthfully answer all questions, in your own words this time.
Wasn't it, what was it again? VDH, perhaps?
Nope, that was the murder of Marvin Grossberg. Try again.
Look, is there a reason here for pointing and laughing at an old man's memory?
I'm afraid there is. Sans laughing. I know it means, like, except for laughing, I know that's what that means, but just sans laughing, I'm gonna... Oh, Sans from Undertale, sorry. In the first cross-examination, you seem to remember the case name quite easily.
Very same. This Hemlock fellow was a central figure in the case KS3 incident. I mean, the LH3 incident, I do beg your pardon.
And even then you slipped up and said it wrong at first. The way you reacted, it was as if someone was correcting you. So tell me this, Chief Foyda. The earpiece you came to court wearing, was Hemlock on the other end?
Ah!
Witness, is this true? Is the chief of police in cohorts with a mobster?
No, Your Honor. He's lying, the little wretch. No, not fit with the denying that no such man exists anymore. He is trying to sully the reputation of the force. That charlatan in a suit is the real villain here, people.
Order! Let's settle down, please. Mr. Edgeworth, what are your thoughts on the defense's assertions? I admit I am hard-pressed for anything to say on the matter.
The reaction of a man with something to hide if I ever saw one, Your Honor. However, in all fairness, I have my suspicions right from the beginning of the case.
Suspicions about the witness's possible connection to Hemlock?
If you recall, both me and Wright were contacted very early on during this case by Hemlock. He said to me, Chief Foyda, that you who appointed me as this case's prosecutor. And Chief Foida, you had the same defensive reaction when I asked if you knew the caller. Which, may I add, you inadvertently blurted out. Your Honor, the defense asserts that Chief Foida... What? What was that?
The lights.
Oh no, he's getting it out. What's happening? A power outage?
Bailiff, will someone, please, anyone get those lights back on?
Maintenance are preparing to fire up the auxiliary lights for the building, Your Honor.
Just so long as we can see what we're doing. Right, that's much better. Bailiff, any word from maintenance on the cause of the outage?
Sir, according to the report, the main power circuits to the building were completely fried. They were overloaded by something and couldn't handle the surge.
Is that right? Well, what on earth could have been straining the power sources?
Since the courtroom is now turned considerably colder, Roma, I may have an explanation. Chief Foida, how many air conditioning units did you bring to court with you?
Are you perchance attempting to blame me for yet another mishap, Miles? My air conditioners are run on an electrical circuit in my office fitted with surge protectors. There's no way they could have blown the lights.
That may be, but we are not in your office. The units aren't surge protected here.
Yes, I get it now. Could we fire them back up, please? In case you haven't noticed, I prefer a very particular climate.
I'm afraid I will have to deny your request this time, Chief Foida. I'm sure we wouldn't like another electrical mishap in the middle of the trial. And I fear plugging them back in would only aggravate the problem once again.
But my air conditioners, I must have. I need them.
Now that that's all settled, can we please get back on with the trial? I believe you are speaking, Mr. Wright.
What's with the chief? He's lost his cockiness pretty quickly now that his air conditioners are off. Right, Your Honor. Well, let's see now. Chief Foida, I believe you let slip yesterday that you knew the mystery caller's identity. The caller who identified himself to me as none other than our mysterious Mr. Hemlock. And when I brought him up in our talk yesterday, I couldn't help but notice that you... had a reaction. His face is all flushed. Now, why does that sound familiar somehow? What? If I were you, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. Between you and me, the chief is a very bad liar. I don't think he's lying about this one. What makes you think that the chief is a bad liar? When he's not being truthful, he tends to turn bright red. Who knows, maybe that's why he surrounds himself with fans and air conditioners. Oh my god! Dude! That's a good fucking foreshadowing. That's good fucking foreshadowing. I love that. Almost everyone's picked up on it by now, but who's gonna say anything to him? Is this why he shrouds himself in the cold all the time? To avoid being caught out on a lie? If that's true, and he's now without his precious air conditioning. He now has nowhere to hide from my questions.
Mr. Wright, do you have anything to ask of our witness or not?
I'll take it from you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you've done nothing but waste my time, just like you're doing to us all right now.
But Chief Foida, I was just about to ask if you know.
No, I damn well do not know. I've said it enough times now, and you have nothing to show for it. We've wasted enough time here, so I'll get back to where we really got sidetracked. With the
confiscation. Oh my god. I forgot that word existed for a second.
Sorry. With the confiscation of your badge, son.
What do you mean?
You brought me into court to try and involve me in your case. And you haven't done that. You've still failed to meet the conditions of the deal.
The witness is correct, I'm afraid, Mr. Wright. What we need from you right now is a reason to cross-examine him further. We are running short on time, and I'm running short on patience. Your answer, please.
No, we can't be back to this again. But I was so sure of his connection to Hemlock. If only it could have been proven. My career is on the line yet again, and the clock is ticking. I'm gonna save. Sorry, my throat is sore from yelling and doing this guy's voice. Whenever he yells, like, it kind of kills my voice. Do I have something to cross-examine Foida about, or at least a reason to keep him here? I mean, I better fucking have. But there are times in the series that I get, again, this is a fan game, but there are times in the series where I actually don't have a reason and I just have to say I don't. But I don't think that that will be useful. I'm just going to say I do.
Now, if you gentlemen will excuse me, I'd like to get back to my nice cold office. You there, bailiff people, see that my unconditionals are sent to the station post-haste. Oh, and Mr. Wright, I'll be eagerly awaiting the delivery of your attorney badge. And don't bother with trying to apply for that. Why has it gone so quiet?
Whether or not this particular matter connects Foida to Hemlock is another beast altogether. But it's all I've got. This has to yield something or it's bye-bye badge. Actually, I do have something else to ask you, Chief Foida.
Make it quick, I'm starting to burn up in here.
Burn up? It's room temperature. Right now, I need to present a matter with which you can provide insight into, yes? Then what about that whole missing evidence fiasco yesterday? What missing evidence fiasco? What are you distracting us with now?
Hold, Mr. Edgeworth. This could be interesting. Mr. Wright, what do you mean by missing evidence?
I was temporarily pulled away from yesterday's investigation by the Chief, Your Honor. He wanted me, for whatever reason, to look into a matter of some importance to him. Are you saying that then that there is a piece of crucial evidence yet unaccounted for? For our case, no, but something was stolen from the records room at the police department. For the recent VD8 case. Could you fill the court in, Chief Foida?
I was hoping to avoid having this sort of thing leaked to the courts, but traitors come and go. They're bound to understand that it was out of our control.
Traitors? You mean to tell me that an officer amongst your ranks has made off with vital evidence?
Your Honor, the defense requests that Chief Foida testify about the situation. Then I think you'll understand why I had to bring it up.
I must admit, I am curious. A case of stolen evidence is a harsh matter indeed. Your request is permitted, Mr. Wright. We will now hear from the Chief Foida about the offense and testimony.
Oh, I've done it again. I'm surviving this trial by the skin of my teeth here. Now hopefully this will both redeem and justify the reason Foida is here at the stand. And hopefully save my career. Again.
Very well, I will testify, but first, I'll request turn my air conditioners back on.
I'm afraid we won't be doing that anymore. I don't wish to be responsible for ruining the backup power too. Now your testimony, please.
But my Your Honor, I don't think you understand how vital they...
This room's temperature will not be changed even by a degree, and that is the end of it.
And besides, you just ordered for all your units to be transported back to the police department. Ugh. Oh, no, you don't. You're not worming your way out of this one. There's something important you don't want us to know about the stolen evidence. And I'm having a voice crack. I'm positive by your urge to cover up your lying habit that is connected to our case. And whatever it is, I'm going to drag it out into the open and save my badge. I will be back. I'm going to go get my drink because my throat is killing me. My throat is in so much pain.
Yesterday, I discovered something amiss in the records room. The VD8 locker, the case code for the recent murder of Marvin Grossberg, had been tampered with. Upon closer inspection, I realized that a certain something wasn't there anymore. I've had the whole of criminal affairs and Mr. Wright here on the hunt for it. The culprit was found to be the deceased officer of Perry Docks, who was also recently murdered. For reasons I can't disclose due to case privacy, it's really urgent that I get that evidence back.
So this VD8, it refers to the case of Marvin Grossberg? Why, that case was only less than 3 weeks ago.
I found that out for myself yesterday, but what on earth could have been stolen from it? What did Perry Docks, or rather, Grayson's mole Clive Warren... Why is his name here? He should not be dead. Well, I don't know. Because it seems like these names are in order. Because Brisbane is the last one. Cedric Mapplethorpe, like, just happened. But Clive Warren, why is his name so high up? Why is his name the first in the list? You would assume it to be in chronological order, right? So Brisbane would be last. Cedric Mapplethorpe right before it. That makes sense. But why is Clive Warren all the way up there? Most importantly, can I tie it to this case in Hemlock? Ah, and that's what I need right now. I must confess I don't know where you're going with this, right? Well, join the club. Neither do I. As I have no bearing whatsoever on this VD8, I'm afraid there is next to nothing I can help with. If you plan to somehow connect this case to this one somehow, then it's on your own head.
Why else would I be beaming like the sun right now? Because I know that ride couldn't possibly be able to involve me or Hemlock. You're in over your head, son. Why not just toss your badge over to me like a good little soldier?
You, may begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
I know you're hiding something big, Foida. Something that will put you in big trouble if I happen to expose it. Which is exactly what I'm about to do. Miss, could you be more specific, Chief Foida?
Specific, you say? Fine, then. I was pursuing the lockers for something unrelated when I saw one locker was slightly open. The natural assumption was that it was the fault of the last fool who was down there. So I go to investigate, and what do I find?
I like his little finger pointing sprite. It's kind of funny. Tampered with in what way?
It's always the trifling details with you, isn't it? The evidence and the files were all misaligned, ransacked. Someone was looking for something. Someone knew exactly what they were looking for, and sure enough, lo and behold...
Here we go. The chief is sure to know what the missing evidence was. What exactly wasn't there anymore?
It was, confidential. Next question.
What? But this is important.
Confidential! Next question!
Wait, that reminds me of a meme. Editing Noah, put it on the screen. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Off-topic questions. Because I don't want to. No, permission denied. That's an off-topic questions. Next, you have been stopped.
Damn it, this is no good. How am I gonna find anything out if he just keeps yelling confidential?
Ha ha! Look at his face. Forgive me, son, but it's my duty as chief of police to ensure the force's security isn't compromised. I'm sure you understand. Do you understand? Good. Correct answer. Anyway.
That's it. That's the clincher. He won't tell us what the missing evidence was. I'm sure that's what he's trying to hide for whatever reason. If only there was some way I could prove what the stolen item actually was. What? I might even have to take a stab in the dark on this one. Wait. A stab in the... Huh? What? What do you mean? What do you mean? Did the Enigmium? Is that what was stolen? No, because it was in Brisbane's eyeball. No, it was in Brisbane's eye socket, sorry. Is it what was in this envelope? No, because it was... What? Hold on. A stab in the dark. But I don't get it. How can evidence just vanish into thin air?
I didn't. As you yourself said, a certain officer entered the record room and helped himself. As for where it is now, perhaps then it vanished into thin air, we don't know.
He's getting a hot flush again. He's almost certainly lying on this one. For the benefit of the court, could you name the officer who took the evidence? Yes, Your Honor. It was Perry Docks who was our supposed evidence thief.
Perry Docks? Wait a moment. Was he that officer murdered last week by Vex Volper? That's Confusing? Why would he of all people steal evidence from VD8 of all cases?
Once we find out what the item actually was, it's possible that all will become clear.
Agreed. Chief Wada, is there anything you can personally tell us about the evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Case privacy? What does that even mean?
It means, my good man, that VD8 is a case of some prominence. Certain aspects of that case must remain closely guarded from the public eye.
Certain aspects? Are you talking about the Enigmium?
Ha! And the rest. If you understand the delicate matter of the Enigmium, then you will respect that of the missing item too.
I'm out of other options, and this is where I am. Foida is the figurehead for Hemlock, and Psyche-Locks don't lie. Somehow, someway, I have to at least prove that Hemlock is the driving force at work here. Come on, Phoenix. This is your last chance to save your badge. The only thing I can think of is this part. And to present the Clive Warren, or the proposed victims document. Known victims, sorry. That's all I can think of. That's incorrect. I realized that a certain something wasn't there anymore. Maybe this is where I put the Enigmium? The Enigmium? What if I present the Magatama and ask him about it? No, that wouldn't work. You can't break Psyche-Locks in court. Well, Christoph Gavin, you can. Well, that's just a fan theory, so it doesn't really... Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm going to try the Enigmium here. Let me save first, though. Nope. Phoenix was talking about a stab in the dark. But... what could have been missing? Maya was missing. No, I'm just kidding. What? Oh, my bad. I didn't realize I could even do that. That was weird. Trace amount of blood. Kitchen stab in the dark. Could that be it? I mean, I'm trying it literally everything I can think of, so I might as well try it, right? No. Shit. Okay. Envelope? No. Let me try and press this one again just to get the hint again. Here we go. The chief. What wasn't there? Confidential. That's it. That's the clincher. He won't tell us what the missing evidence was. I'm sure that's what he's trying to hide for whatever reason. If only there was some way I could prove what the stolen item actually was. Do I use the conversation transcript to prove the Enigmium? No. Probably not. Do I use the garrote wire? No. Do I use the photo? Because Brisbane is missing his eye? Probably not. This. Oh! Okay. No, I know what it is now. Sorry. Oh, shit. Hopefully this is it. If it isn't it, then I don't know what it is. Shit! I really thought that was it, though. Upon closer inspection, you realize that something wasn't there anymore. It's the card piece, because it's not there anymore. Card piece? Nothing. It's not found. Wait. Since the 3rd, there have been no more card pieces. The garrote wire is the only proof I have behind have of B being behind these killings. Phoenix said stab in the dark, and that was the Perry Docks murder, but I don't know how that relates to this at all, to be honest. I'm officially stuck. I have no ideas on what I'm supposed to do here, so I'm going to look at the guide. Unfortunately. Yeah, okay, so I have to present Perry Docks here. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But, I guess... I don't know. Let's see where it goes with this. The missing evidence. It's too convenient that you won't tell anybody what it is, Chief Fueda. Explain yourself, young man. You aim to keep its nature secret, yet you expect your officers to search for it? Sounds somewhat paradoxical, don't you think? Indeed, how can this object be found if nobody even knows what it is they are looking for? That was your intention, wasn't it, Chief Fueda? Well, unluckily for you, I may just have an idea of what the stolen evidence is.
Huh? You what? But you couldn't possibly...
A stab in the dark. Those words struck a chord with me for a reason I didn't know, until now. I may even have to take a stab in the dark on this one. Oh, sorry, Clive Warren. Hope this proves it, or at least paves the way towards finding out. The defense would like to present evidence to tell us what was stolen from the records room.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please do so.
To those of you who don't know, this man is Perry Docks. That's right, the officer who was murdered by Vex Vulper a mere week ago.
You're getting desperate now, son. What good will showing us that face do?
Your Honor, he presided over the case. Please cast your mind back to a certain point. Looks like the murder weapon. How did a knife end up in a room like this? Apparently, Docks brought it in. So, the evidence that was stolen was the knife that killed Marvin Grossberg. Okay. So, let me get this straight. They expect me to remember God knows how long ago this goddamn knife that Docks brought in. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting frustrated. I need to calm down. This case has been really good so far. This is the only thing that's pissed me off. The victim brought a knife to the interrogation? How do you know? I had the knife checked for fingerprints, of course. And 2 sets were found. 2 people held the knife on that night. I'm not going to like this, am I? And who were they? Docks and Vulpa. So Docks did bring a knife into the interrogation. Whatever for, I wonder.
Yes, I remember now. Officer Docks brought that murder weapon to the interrogation himself, did he not?
Exactly, Your Honor. And it was confirmed that he visited which particular place before entering that interrogation?
The police records room, isn't that correct? Wait just a minute!
If this officer reportedly went to the records room first and came back with a knife... That's right. The defense has reason to believe that the item stolen from the VD8 evidence locker was the knife used that night to kill Perry Docks. What do you say to that, Chief Fueda? Am I wrong?
Of course you're wrong. Nobody is right except me.
Then what's with that defensive reaction? You knew all along that the stolen evidence was the VD8 murder weapon, didn't you? He's whistling like a kettle and he's close to a boiling point. Scary, but a reaction like that is enough to convince me.
But if you claim that the knife was reused for the murder of Perry Docks, then the current location of the stolen evidence must be that particular evidence locker.
No, it's not.
Your Honor is correct. Since it became the murder weapon for the Perry Docks case, it would have been filed under that case's evidence instead of VD8 where it should be. But wait, if we want to actually prove that the 2 knives are one and the same knife that was used to kill Marvin Grossberg being recycled to kill Perry Docks, then there's one surefire way to find out. The defense requests that the knife in question be examined for blood and fingerprints.
Blood and fingerprints?
If this is indeed the same knife that was used in VD8, The blood of Marvin Grossberg should still be on it.
No! As Chief of Police, I shot in Foydar, forbid him disapprove this!
Input from Chief Foydar side, right? I have a query. What precisely would be proven if the knife is revealed to be one from another case? It might bring about the answers to some questions. Namely, why would Officer Dox bring his own murder weapon into that interrogation? And what did he gain from obtaining that specific knife from the Grossberg murder? And if my suspicions are to be believed, there may be a forgery of evidence going on.
I still can't say for sure I follow what is happening right now.
Me too, Judge.
But the possibility of an evidence forgery? A doubt like that I cannot ignore. Bailiff, contact the police department and tell them to bring out the knife from the Perry Docks case. We only have time for a quick diagnostic right now on blood and fingerprints.
Sir, right away. 30 minutes later. 30 minutes later.
Your Honor, I have the results of the blood and print tests, as well as the knife itself.
Well, finally. Foydar's been turning redder and redder and has been glaring at me the entire time. It's like sitting in a room with an atomic bomb waiting for it to go off.
Ah, so this is the knife that has been causing us so much confusion. And what are the test results?
The fingerprints test revealed some rather faded prints matching those of Vex Volper, sir.
As expected, he was the one who was proven to have done it after all.
And the blood test results?
Sir, 2 different blood types were detected on the blade. The large amount that you can see belonged to the officer that was murdered.
And the other?
The other was a very faint trace that had been present for some time. A more thorough examination will be required in order to identify whose blood it is.
That has to be Grossberg's.
But the test did manage to reveal one more thing, Your Honor. The faded blood stain is of a different type to the case's victim, Marvin Gross.
What? Huh? Wait. Wait a minute. What?
Oh, so somebody else was injured by this blade during VD8?
What? But if that's not Grossberg's blood, then whose could it possibly be?
Thank you, bailiff. Now please see to it that this knife is put through a more extensive series of...
How about you don't?
Chief Foydar, is there something you wish to get off your chest? Something perhaps related to the suspicious circumstances of...
Suspicious?
Holy shit! What in the name of...
Just what is going on with the temperature of this courtroom today?
Bad idea. I take it back. Turn his air conditioners back on.
Let me make one thing perfectly clear for you maggots. Schadenfreude will not have his name sullied by such toxic slander.
That fire animation is awesome.
Phoenix Wright, stand to attention.
Yeah. Yes, Chief Foydar. Please tell me that you'll go back to being like a Cheshire cat now.
I'm very disappointed in you, son. You dared to taint my good name and the reputation of the police force. It's like the old saying, he who dares, care to finish it off.
He who dares wins?
No. He who dares, young man, burns. And this moment will go down in history as the tragic fall of Phoenix Wright. He who played too close to the fire and burned himself to a crisp.
Icarus? God. That fire animation and that sound effect is so good. I have not mentioned the art of this fan game a lot, mainly because I don't think it's, like, super amazing. But that sprite right there and those animations are, lack for a better word, pun intended, crisp. Come on, Phoenix, don't let him psyche you out. Sure, he's a big, angry, scary old man on fire, but you're on the right track, and his desperate defensiveness proves it. No, Chief Foydar, you're the one playing with fire here.
Is that a fact? Then answer me this, son. If that godforsaken knife really is the same one from VD8, so what? What will that change? I've no idea why that filthy weasel stole it in the first place, but it has no possible connection to me or Hemlock.
Can I really do it? Can I prove that Dox was after Hemlock? And if I can, will Foida be tied into it somehow?
So how about it, son? This is the question I put to you. Can you prove that Maggot Paradox was pursuing Hemlock? Answer the question right now or you're finished.
Why are you doing that? I have to think very carefully before I choose my answer. Very well. Chief Foida, Your Honor. Paradox was on Hemlock's trail with a VD8 knife, and this proves it. This fucking music slaps. This music fucking slaps, dude. This music fucks. I believe it is... Ah, my throat still hurts. Ow. I'm gonna save multiple times because I have this fucking full bar here going balls deep. I'm gonna say it's the list of Boogeyman victims. Here's your proof. Better not hold it too close to Foida. I don't want this going up in flames.
Is that a note you have there, Mr. Wright?
I do, Your Honor. The note kindly donated to our case by Detective Jerry Jackson from earlier. It's a compilation of the currently known victims of the serial killer, the Boogeyman, a.k.a. Hemlock.
So what about that? Why would that concern me?
There's a certain name on this list that confuses me, actually. The number one name on this list. Hemlock's first victim. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. He shouldn't be dead. This can't be right. How could he have been killed already? I better just follow through with the bluff and see where it takes me. A well-timed appearance from Grayson would be appreciated as well.
Clive Warren, I can't say the name rings a bell.
It's a bit late now to be bringing new people into this trial, don't you agree? Ah, but we do know Clive Warren, because he's been using another name. It's now time to reveal my hidden ace. That's right. The first victim of the Boogeyman, or Hemlock, was in fact Perry Dox himself. That's preposterous. Aren't you forgetting something rather obvious? The Perry Dox was murdered much later by Vex Volpa?
Bravo, Miles. You speak for us all. I believe Mr. Wright has already begun his descent to despair.
No, of course I haven't forgotten. To be honest, I haven't completely figured that part out yet. But I have. Boss. Boss? It's Terry Grayson.
Hey, folks. Long time no see, I guess.
It's you again, Detective. Mr. Jackson, wasn't it?
I could tell that the sister here was in over his head and needed a deus ex machina. But since we ain't in a fairy tale, he's got me instead.
I love that.
I just stepped in to confirm a few things he's just said. Firstly, Perry Dox was my man. He was working for me before we shot off upstairs.
Was he a subordinate? Perhaps a partner?
Half and half, boss. And that segues nicely into the sister's second point he made. Perry Dox was indeed an alias to protect his identity from Aculus, though Clive Warren was the man who died trying to expose them.
So you then confirm that the defense's claims are correct, Detective? Then does that also mean he really was the serial killer's first victim?
Gotta hand it to you, sister. You figured that one out faster than I thought you would. That's right, Your Honor. Good old Clive's murder was what started the Boogeyman's spree. Strangled with garrote wire. And a piece of Cadopian ring order card on his body.
No disrespect to your, loss, Detective. But Officer Warren was killed later by Vex Volpa, as I stated earlier, was he not?
Well, yeah, but he survived his first run-in with the Boogeyman.
He did? But how?
Miracle is how, boss. No one magically recovers from garroting that easily. Always knew he was a tough cookie, but that took the cake.
I seem to recall you telling us in your testimony earlier, Detective, that the Boogeyman, Hemlock, only targeted members of the Cadopian smuggling ring.
I sent him in there undercover. Impersonate a high-ranking member and gather intel from the top. That guy was always good at subterfuge. Too good.
Let me guess. He was so good that his cover even fooled Hemlock?
Mm-hmm. He got caught up in Hemlock's firing lines. He's planned to kill his way to the top.
But your man, Officer Warren, he did recover, did he not?
Oh, he recovered all right. A blessing it was. A miracle. But I should have let him go. His skills were so good, and I wanted revenge so badly against the smuggling ring. Aculus. I just had to go and send him on another undercover job. His last ever.
I believe we know the rest, Detective.
It's my fault. I sent him to his death. Hemlock failed the first time, but I gave him the chance to make sure his target stayed dead this time. The guy deserves better, boss. He was always telling me his plans for the future. Retire and get a cushy home in the hills. Marry his sweetheart. Get away from it all. One last job, I said. I didn't mean it literally, damn it!
A moment, Detective Jackson. If Officer Warren was indeed your subordinate, then he was carrying out your orders?
On the boating, boss. Why do you ask?
Presuming that means yes, then I wonder something. Did you perchance order Officer Warren to slip into the records room and take that knife? Would you know why he did such a thing?
No, I didn't tell him to do that. Scout's honor. I only ordered him to snoop around the local precinct to look at the Aculus's activity. The records room visit, the knife, the interrogation incident, that was all him. And it looks like we never know the truth of what his intentions were. Did he bring it to the interrogation to put Voper on the coals? Since we know now that he was an Aculus member that... Since we know now that he was that Aculus member he was after, it just makes so much sense. But how? How did he find something like that out?
So Warren was the first victim of Hemlock's plan to climb the ranks of the smuggling ring. Could this have been the personal stake he had that Grayson mentioned yesterday? Come to think of it, I still don't know Grayson's personal motive for revenge against Aculus. Was Warren's death the reason, or something else? So you see, Your Honor, being the killer's first victim, then rising from the grave to seek vengeance, I think Perry Docks had more than enough reason to pursue Hemlock. Does that answer your question, Chief Foyda? Oh, he's fine now.
One more question, if you will.
What else could you have to...
Shut up while I'm talking! I'm not done with you yet, maggot.
Yeah, not this again.
Now that you remembered your place, I'll continue. I'll play along and pretend that the charlatan tried to go after Hemlock. Then tell me, Phoenix Wright, where do I come into this? Docks was after Hemlock, not me. Why am I still here talking to you, vermin?
That's a good question. Where does this chief come into this whole situation? I know that he's trying to hide his connection to Hemlock, so what does it... Oh my god, that's it! There's one answer that will force another day of investigation, and I have it.
I can tell by that look in your eyes that you've just realized your situation. Come on, son, just hand over your badge and let me melt it into a puddle of slag.
And let you get away so easily? I think not, Chief Foyda. You're hiding something big about this whole investigation, and I know what it is.
I dare you to make that assumption.
Oh, I dare. Because what you're hiding may very explain a few issues with our Brisbane case, too. I have reason to believe, Chief Foyda, that you... Oh my god, why with the full bars? He's not Hemlock. He is connected. He covered up evidence, I think. I don't know. Maybe he isn't connected, but that makes no sense. He's not Hemlock. This knife, the one that Volper used to take Dox's life, as well as one other life before him. It's my belief that you tried to cover this up.
Order in the court! Mr. Wright, are you serious? You're now accusing the chief of police of covering up evidence? I understand that it's a little worm in here, but I think the heat might have gone to your head.
Heat going to Wright's head, what a tempting offer.
I put my neck on the line. I am not backing down now. I was under the assumption, Chief Foyda, that any and all evidence found in an investigation goes through you. Agreed? If that's the case, then I have a big problem with this knife. I have a feeling that we've never even seen it before.
Say another word and I'll roast you where you stand.
And do you know why I think that is? Here's what I find wrong with the VD8 knife. the other blood stain. The knife is currently undergoing a more in-depth test right now, and that is all down to one simple flaw.
Refresh our memories, Mr. Wright. What is this flaw?
Tell me, Your Honor, aside from Clive Warren, who else was this knife supposed to have killed?
Who else? Right, that would be the victim of VD8, Marvin Grossberg.
Correct. But remember that the old faded bloodstain was found to be a different type to Grossberg's. Meaning that this knife was originally used in VD8 to stab someone else. What?
Order. But I don't understand. How was Grossberg killed if that isn't his blood?
Because, Your Honor, this wasn't the knife we were once led to believe. There must have been a second knife involved in the VD8 case. But as that case's attorney, I clearly don't recall a second knife being in the equation. Why would that be, Chief Foida? But if the old bloodstain doesn't belong to Grossberg, then whose is it? That's what the additional test will hopefully tell us. Test which Chief Foida protested against, if the court recalls.
I didn't. Gee, is it just me or is it getting hot in here? I'd better just step outside and get some fresh air before I burn up.
What a shame, because I'm about to really turn up the heat.
Hold it. I have more to say.
No you don't. No he doesn't, Your Honor. Not if he wishes to see another dawn, he doesn't.
Proceed, Mr. Wright. What else did you have to say?
An answer to a question of mine, I believe, is what Wright will utter next. You stated earlier that the VD8 knife held the answers to issues with our case, Brisbane's assault. Would you elaborate on this for us, Wright? It's simple, really. If Chief Foida is proven to have been covering up evidence from past cases such as VD8, then who's to say that he hasn't been doing so for our current case too? There we give him a number of facts, or who knows what else that have been kept from us all. Never mind. You remember at the beginning of this episode when I said that I didn't know whether he was evil or not? He's evil as fuck, dog.
Chief Foida, what say you in the face of these allegations? Are they true? Have you really been withholding evidence?
Can we ever really say if something is true? I mean, truth can be subjective, no? As in, did I subjectively withhold evidence?
This simply will not do as a satisfactory answer, Chief Foida. And as you are at a loss for words, I'll have no choice but to take Mr. Wright's allegations seriously.
Oh, no, you don't, Phoenix Wright.
He's still not letting up? How could he possibly weasel his way out now?
You thought it would be that easy to make me out as the villain here? That's sad, son. I feel sorry for you. Except I don't.
What's your point, Chief Foida?
Straight to the point, then. What would I have to gain from hiding evidence? It gives me great joy to bring it to you, young man. But that's an impossible question for you to answer.
What would he stand to gain from covering up evidence? Especially this case. He's covering someone else. I should probably say it first. Just to be safe. Maybe I'll have to think outside the box for this one. If I can't prove why Foida would want to withhold evidence from these cases, then perhaps I shouldn't be focusing on Foida at all. It just might be possible that... That's it. That's the answer. Foida wasn't doing this for himself. He was doing it for... Chief Foida, get ready to eat your words, because I can't answer your impossible question.
You can, Mr. Wright? Well then, what reason would Chief Foida have for conducting cover-ups?
It's all in his own best interest, make no mistake. Secret interests, although I bet they're not entirely secret, are they, witness?
And just what are you implying by that remark?
That the reason you aimed to keep this knife a secret was because you were being coerced into doing so. Somebody has been looking over your shoulder, breathing down your neck all this time, haven't they?
Why have all the insulting underhanded?
I'm right, aren't I? Answer the question.
I can't. He's listening to us as we speak.
He's listening? Not the chief, too. So Varper wasn't the only one. It wasn't just the paranoid ramblings of a lunatic. Chief Voidan now looks as scared as he did. Volper, Detective Smith, and now the Chief. Are they all being threatened by the same force? The force known only as...
Mr. Wright, you claim that the chief of police is being coerced by somebody? And you believe this to be the reason for the alleged evidence cover-ups?
They are mere allegations. They're completely untrue and unproven. Besides, Phoenix Wright, who would dare think they could threaten Chardon Foydar?
Somebody with a lot of backing and power, that's who. And there's only one person in recent memory who it can be. Your Honor, the defense wishes to name the one who's been tugging at the police force strings. The puppeteer behind the chief's actions and the mastermind of Errol Brisbane's attempted murder. Not to mention that of Perry Dox's, a.k.a. Clive Warren's murder.
No, don't do it, son. You have no idea who you're dealing with here. You'll regret it forever.
Your constant defensiveness and threats won't stop me, Chief Foydar. They only confirm and solidify your guilt.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please give us a name. Who is this so-called puppet master?
Hemlock.
No! Don't say his name. Don't let him catch on. You have no idea what he's capable of.
So it's true. He's listening to us. You have no idea what he's capable of. There's no two ways about it. It's him. He's been behind this whole thing. I appreciate the warning, Chief Foydar, but you can't silence me. The man in question must be exposed for his involvement in these crimes. And the name of that man is Hemlock.
Order! I will have order! Chief Foydar, the defense accuses you of communications with the criminal to withhold evidence.
Not to mention how that would seriously affect our current investigations if it is true.
Allegations of covering up evidence, in other words, perverting the course of justice. Naturally, you will be under a full investigation once today's proceedings end. Is there anything you wish to say in your defense, Chief Foydar?
Investigation. I laugh at your investigation. Search me all you want. You won't. You won't find a morsel. Are you happy, Mr. Wright? Do you get your kicks destroying people's lives, their reputations? Throwing around. Oh, blast it! Stupid slander about. Why me, damn it? Why me? I can't stop. Why can't I?
Oh my god. That was probably so loud. Yo, hold on. Hold on, man. I gotta fucking clap for that. That was a fantastic breakdown. Wow. Props. Fucking props, dude.
Is it safe to come out now?
I think so, Your Honor.
Okay, I take it back. We should have allowed the air conditioners. And, wait. Where's Chief Foydar gone? He's escaped. Guards, after him. And take some fire extinguishers with you. In fact, call the fire department too. And a carpenter to replace the door.
Wait, that's where the door was? Wait. That's where the door has been this entire time throughout this franchise? That's where the door is? Well, yeah. The manager of the space station in Dual Destinies, he did smash out through that door. So that is where the door is. I'm just stupid.
Mr. Edgeworth, has Chief Foydar been successfully tracked down?
By following the trail of embers and smoldering ground he left in his wake, he was found to have returned to his office, no doubt to cool off after today's proceedings. Needless to say, an investigation into Wright's assertions will be underway shortly. So they will be taken seriously, Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Wright. And if Chief Hoyda is found to have been in cahoots with Hemlock, as well as being threatened by him into covering up evidence for past cases, then the investigations for our case of Mr. Brisbane's assault could be seriously compromised.
And naturally, Hemlock himself will have to be found and brought to court to testify.
Precisely. We cannot allow this man to slip away if he is to be an involved party. He must be at least identified by tomorrow morning.
Identifying a man whose only presence has been through the phone. He could be anywhere in the world, or closer than we think. We'd have no way of knowing until I get to the bottom of the truth.
I think that's a good place to end today's proceedings. Due to the new facts brought to light today, I am forced to issue one last day for investigation. Because of this deadline, we must return now to the matter of the stolen enigmium case. Results of the evidence cover-up allegations may very well aid the investigation, and the man known as Hemlock, if he really is behind it all, must be identified.
That's a tall order for just one day. I've miraculously come through and made this happen, so I can't let it be for nothing. Hemlock, this time, we're coming to get you.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Oh my god. Yeah, this episode's gonna be long. I don't think I'm gonna have it in 2 parts, yeah. I've decided. Like, this is already running an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. Renwick, we may have another lead after all. Oh yeah, that Hemlock guy. Whoever he is. I think you're more familiar with Hemlock than you let on. Do you remember yesterday's visitor meeting at the detention center? Detective, you wouldn't happen to know who this Hemlock character is, would you? Can't say. He's listening to us as we speak. Who is this guy? He wouldn't be the real culprit, would he? No comment. Did you hear me? I said no comment. He's the real culprit here, I know it. And keep in mind, Renwick, anything I dig up today that proves your connection to him will be exposed too. I'm not going to sugarcoat the facts for your benefit. I just hope you know that. Fine. Dig up whatever you want. Dig to the center of the earth if that's where it takes you. Just make sure you find the one responsible, even if it does turn out to be me. And besides, everything to be examined has already been examined twice. What else could you possibly do in today's investigation? I know what I'm gonna do. Don't you worry, Renwick. Or worry if you know you have reason to. Hey, boss. Ah, Grayson, how come you... Hey, you! Don't I know you from someplace? Huh? Of course you do. It's me, Not you, sister. You. Me? Why would I know you? Nope, don't think so. Sure about that, boss? I know I've seen you someplace before. I'd better be off. No worries. Must have just seen him at about the precinct. Didn't mean to scare him off. Grayson, I wasn't expecting to ever see you in a courtroom, much less take the stand. It is what it is, boss. You guys needed my help, and it was good seeing put it to use. Seeing it put, sorry. Using the boogeyman victim list to realize that Warren was victim numero uno? You got brains, boss. Do you know anything about the chief being in Hemlock's pocket, if it's true or not? Sorry, ain't got a clue. What I'm interested in is that client of yours. Renwick Smith, that his name? So what happened between you and his Renwick customer? You mean yesterday? Well, he seems to know a lot more about Hemlock than he'd like to tell me. And a phone call from the man himself seemed to imply that he's been on the wrong side of the law. Renwick turned out to be in with the activist crowd all this time. That ain't good. But hey, I'm a cynical guy. Hemlock's probably just trying some cheap tricks to get away. I hope so, but I'm going to do a little truth searching today, so we'll know soon enough. Anyway, good enough for Moose for now and carry on my side of the investigation. Hemlock's likely got my scent now that I got up to stand. Who knows with that guy? He could have been right there in the audience the whole time for all we know. See you soon, Grayson. I'll be around. Renwick, I thought you'd left? That guy. Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite remember where I've seen him before. All that exaggerated detective slang rang a bell, but... Hold on, wait a minute. That Interpol investigator from the court library incident. No way, that was him? James Trent is on this case now? Wait. James who? No, his name is... Yeah, that was him. What's he doing here? Well, better slow things down and ask one question at a time. What did you say his name was? James Trent? That smug wait. I remember seeing Trent somewhere in the victim list. Sarah Trent. Oh. Oh boy. Oh. That smug show stealing. I haven't forgotten about it. I haven't forgotten about him all these years. You sure that's his name? His real name? That's who he introduced himself as way back when. Unless that was just another fake name, who knows with that stuck-up show-off. James Trent. Grayson was looking into the DT2 aftermath too? That's kind of an interesting development. I'll have to ask him about it when I see him next. Before I begin, I'd better head back to the office to sort out my plan of action. And we are going to get into this final investigation segment next time.